Good evening to one more monthly boot camp organized by IB. The purpose of the boot camp is simple to introduce new concepts or new tools to the people who are looking forward to get into the world of analytics. So I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Ishani. I'm one of the directors and trainers at IB. And my role at IB is basically of a BI analyst. And hence, today I bring to you creating a monthly attendance tracker in Power BI. So let's get started. And let me quickly share the data set as well as what is the outcome that we are looking for. So I'm sending a link in the chat, a drive link. So there is a data set called attendance data set, which we will be using. We have simplified this data set a little bit because the boot camps are for 1 hour and trying to cover too many things is not a very good idea. So we thought, cover a few things and make a output out of it. So in today's workshop, we will be creating a attendance tracker, right? So the main thing in a monthly attendance tracker, let's say if I was an HR head or if I was, looking at the monthly attendance, I am not really going to look at everybody's attendance of what is the percentage attendance, how many leaves did a person take, how many times a person was late. But rather, I would want to get an overview of my organization. So that's why you will see there are very few things on this dashboard. On the top, we are calculating total man days, how many were there, right? Depending on how many working days were there, if there were holidays. So in this data set, the holidays of 25th and 26th of December, Sundays are off. So the organization is working 6 days a week, three departments. Total number of people are 80. And out of these man days, I want to understand how many I've lost in auditing, how many did I lose in finance, how many did I lose in HR. All right. At the bottom, what we're going to create is just to understand on the monthly level, what is the percentage of people being absent. Now, in all the organizations, definitely there are not going to be days where nobody's absent. They might be, but I'm not concerned about every day absent, how many are absent from each department. But at any point where, let's say, the number of people are going beyond a certain threshold, which we know will affect the working of an organization, we need to strictly look at it. So you can see over here that in finance, these 2 days, and these are consecutive days, these were higher absent rate that was there. In HR, there are multiple days where a lot of people are absent, but 18th, 19th, again consecutive days where people were absent. And in auditing, 21st, 23rd, even though they are not consecutive, but they have been people who were absent. So if you look at it, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? So a lot of people took leave of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So if there are patterns that an organization is able to get, that in a particular month, a lot of people are clubbing the weekend and a particular days and taking offs, that is something that the organization will have to take an action on, right? Or if there are any departments where there are a lot of people who are absent on a regular basis, right? Then again, the organization will take action. Second thing, what I focused on all is to identify, let's say, normal, if we are working 6 days a week, so they would be about 6 into 4, 36 days. And if someone is coming in 10 or more times late to office, that is something again I would like to understand so that we can talk to their department heads and understand what is the issue, why they're coming late. and take an action. For example, employee 004 has been absent 15 days out of the total number of days. So these are the points where an actionable item has to be taken. Okay. Now, why I'm focusing on few things? Because a lot of times I see that people create dashboards, but those dashboards are a lot of charts, a lot of visuals, beautiful ones, very interesting ones. However, if I want to understand that, okay, you created this dashboard, who is using it, and what kind of action a person is taking, that goes missing in the dashboards. And trust me, the organizations are only using the dashboards where someone is able to take an action based on what he or she is looking at. So, hence, kind of kept it less depending on the data and focusing more on the outcome for business, right? Now, before we get started on this journey of creating this dashboard, very quickly, and it's always a very good idea to look at the data set. Now, like I said, typically this will not be as simple as what we have presented today, but we cannot also mix too many things in 1 hour. So we simplified the dashboard, converted 3 or 4 tables into one single table, and this is what we have. So information that we have is date. Like I said, this is only 1 month's data. Sunday is off. So I think 1st of December was a Sunday. That's why data is selected from 2nd. So this is giving you all the days in the month of December, right? This is only the month of December, nothing more than that. Next month, when it comes, we can put January and look at the tracker, and we might have a different dashboard or a tracker to see overall on a quarterly basis or month on month change what's going on. Then we have the employee numbers. Like I said, there are a total of 80 employees. What was the time in? What was the time out? Now, then whether the person was present or was on leave. And there are different type of leaves like casual, present, privileged leave, sick leave. Again, we are not considering them. We are saying leave or present. In column F, I have a column called late or on time. So people who are on leave, they do not have anything of late or on time. But if a person was present, so did the person come on time? On time means the person has to be in office by 9 a.m. Anything like 9:01, 9:02, 9:03 would be marked as late. All right. Then the first name, last name, the gender of the employee, date of joining, and which department does the employee belong to. Very simplistic data set. Like I said, it was actually multiple tables, but we combine all the tables to present into one table. Any questions so far? Any questions? No? All right. So let's get started. I could not download. Should I send the link once more, Priyadarshini? So what you need to do when you click on this drive link, it will take you to this page. Then you can download it straight away from here. All right. Okay. What will we do with the blank spaces in the data set? There's no blank space in the data set, Mansi. The blank spaces that you're talking about is under late and on time, right? That is because the person was not present. So if I select the people who are on leave, ideally they would not have any in and out time, and they would not have any late or on time comments also because they were on leave. So this is a very legible blank cell. We are not going to do any kind of treatment for these blank cells. Does it make sense? How to clean? We are not going to clean. There is nothing to clean in this data set. Shushti, does it make sense? There's nothing to clean in this data set. It's very nicely structured. well-maintained data set over here. All right. So I'm going to close this Excel file. And now we're going to start working on Power BI. So let's say everybody, if I hope all of you have downloaded Power BI, then only these boot camps look fun, because at the end of 1 hour, you also have something substantial to put on your portfolios or on your LinkedIn's, and good projects get created out of it. So let's start off with a new blank report. All right. So once you open Power BI and you have a blank report like I have right now, the very first thing we have to do is connect with the data set that we will be working with. Now, depends on the organization, depends on what kind of work you are doing, what kind of softwares your company has. You might be able to connect to the softwares directly through the connectors that are present in Power BI, or a lot of times, like a lot of my clients that I work with, we are working with dumps, because a lot of softwares are internally built, and you don't have to log in. You don't have to do any kind of login. Not this regarding other data set cleaning. We see, if I talk in theory, it will become very boring. So let's look at this data set. If any cleaning is required in this data set, or any transformation is required, we'll work on that. But we are not going to per se talk about data cleaning. Okay. All right. So it depends on what kind of organization, what kind of data set. So sometimes people will say, okay, take a dump of the data and create a dashboard. Sometimes you are supposed to connect to, let's say, SQL servers or SAPs, and then take the data from there. All right, I have to stop this intonation. 1 second. Okay. So ours is a Excel database. So once I go to the symbol under home, when you click over here, this will help you to understand what are the variety of connections we can do. We are taking a simplistic example where we're using Excel workbook, and we are going to click on connect, right? Once you do that, it will ask you to select the file which you want to bring to Power BI. So we're going to select the data set, click open. You don't have to, nobody has to sign in into Power BI. Nobody has to sign in. Sign in typically happens when you want to publish your dashboards. But the first thing we typically do is create our dashboard and our reports on Power BI desktop. That's what we're going to do. Then if we have to give some roles to different people to look at different parts of the data and the dashboard, we do that, and then we publish. So that's like little faraway step. So no sign-in is required. Now, since this is an Excel workbook, an Excel workbook can have multiple sheets. So you will see over here in my data set, there's only one sheet. But if there were many sheets, they would have come up over here. And you can select the data that you want to work with. I have selected attendance data set. And this is a preview it is giving of how the data set is going to look like. Now, underneath, you will see load and transform. So, like Shushti was asking about data cleaning. So, when we want to do data cleaning, data type change, or we want to do a transformation of the data, which means that I want to create some columns, create some new columns, pick some columns, do pivoting, change the basic structure. That is all done through transform data. Now we can clearly see this date is there as 2nd December, but the time it is taking 31st 12 1899, and then the timestamp. So definitely this data we will require to do some working on the data. All right. So we will click on transform, and this takes us to the another window of Power BI, which is also called as Power Query. So this over here, we have Power Query. Let me know when you guys have reached this point. So we were, so I'm just going to quickly repeat. We went to get data. We said we want to connect to Excel workbook. We clicked on connect, selected the data set we are working with, which I've already sent on Drive, selected the attendance data set, and then transform data. Transform button is not accessible. Did you select the file? Did you select the sheet from the file? Arya, did you select the sheet? Okay. Now this is Power Query. And what is interesting about Power Query is that whatever you do, Power Query keeps on recording your steps. So over here on the right, you see something called applied steps. This is where all your actions are recorded. Now, what is the benefit of getting these actions recorded? Any thoughts? Why do you think this is a good thing that everything that I do is getting recorded? Automation. Very good. Rama, very good. This is the point where automation comes in. So whatever steps are getting recorded over there, in future, if similar data is given, like I said, this we have done for December. Next month will be January's tracker. Now, I am not going to redo all my process, which I did on December to January. So all we'll do is replace the file of December with January, where this is accessing, and my dashboard for January would be ready. And whatever cleaning, whatever changes I have made in my December dashboard is what I'm going to apply to January's data also. So instead of me doing the labor, my Power Query does that, and all we have to do is change the data source and refresh. That's it. Okay. So first thing in Power Query, once the data gets loaded, you should focus on did it pick the right data types or not. And how do we know that? On the top, where the name is written, on the left side, you will see these symbols. Anything which is coming green means the data is all okay. If they were red, that means there's an error. And like you can see these grays, this means data is not there. And that we already understand why in and out data is not there, right? If the person is absent, I don't have the data in and out. This preview is for 1000 rows. So in case we have more than 1000 rows, or in general, we should always go and do profiling for all the rows, right? Because in 1000, there might not be any error. Let's say in the date column, so far in first 1000, there were dates. But at the bottom, somebody has entered text by mistake. So that will not come till you go to the visuals. So over here itself, always try to do profiling on the entire data set. So this is date. This is employee ID. ABC means text. Looks correct. Now, in and out time, should it be date and time or should it be only time? What do you think? Should it be date as well as time, or only time should be okay? Time, only time, right? As it is, the dates are coming wrong. So we are going to click on this and there is a symbol of time. So we are just simply going to click on change it to time. Now, when you do that, it is going to ask you, do you want to replace current or add new step? Now, what does it mean? What you are doing over here is changing the type of the data. data type change you are doing. Now that is already a step that applied steps already does in Power Query. So on the top, you can see it has already said, okay, date is a date, employee ID is a text, in time is date time, out time is a date time. So it's already done the data typing by itself. Now, when you click and you say, I want to change this to time, it is going to ask you, do you want to replace current? Meaning in this M code on the top, it will make changes, or do you want to add it as a new step? So if I say I'm going to add it as a new step, another step of change type 1 will show up over here, right? Typically, I like to replace current. I don't want too many steps of changing the data. Same thing I'll do over here, change it to time in the current itself. And now you see it says out time as time, in time as time. And let's go. Then we have present, an absent leave, which is ABCD, later on time ABCD, first name, last name, gender, all good. So I think the rest of the data type is perfectly fine. Let me know once you're done till this part. All right. Now, if I make you look at the data or the dashboard that I've already created, and if you look at this particular visual has the day names like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Does the data set that you have the names like Monday to Saturday? Do you guys have the names in your data set? Do you have it? No, right? You don't. Now, do you think it is important to have the days or not so important? Remember, every time we create a dashboard, our main aim is to get some insight and actions that I need. It is important. Okay. Why do you think it's an important thing? Like, one of our clients, they understood by having a tracker like this that people love to club Saturday or Mondays. No, they work only 5 days a week. So they saw that there's a whole pattern that Friday people take off, Monday people take off, and have a 4 day week and have a 4 day holiday, right? So that was kind of harming the business because Friday and Monday both become crucial end of the week, starting of the week. So they wanted to discourage their organization people. And they made a rule that if you take Friday and Monday both off, your Saturday, Sunday also goes in your leave. Right? One day they were okay, but if anybody did a sandwich kind of a thing where Friday and Mondays were off and Saturday, Sundays in between, 2 more days get cut. So how would we know that I know that person is taking leave, but I would like to see on which day, right? Which days are these days that people are taking a lot of leaves? So if we look over here, we can see Fridays, 35% of the people were missing, 41 people were missing over here, right? Wednesday, not too many. It's a large chunk of people taking the leaves, but these are all the days combined. 57% Tuesday, 52% Tuesday. Over here, there is 41% Friday, HR Monday. So if there was a pattern, though in this data set that's not the pattern, if there was a pattern, that would have been caught. Right? Now, how would you get the day of the week? Very easy in Power BI, Power Query. We will select date, and on the top, you have something called add column. Now, in add column, you see there is something related to number-based operations, date and time-based operations, and text-based operations. So these three things help you to modify the data, do calculations on the data, get more information from the data so that we can do better analysis. Like from date, I would want the name of the day name, right? So I'm going to select the date, go to add column because I don't want to work on this column. I want another column. Add column, go to date, and over here at the bottom where you have day of the year, day of the week, you will also find something called name of day. So I don't have to write any lengthy formulas or functions to say this day is Monday, this day is Tuesday. Power Query has made it very easy. And now that I clicked at the end, I have day name coming up. Got it? So it created a new column called day name. Done? If you wanted to find out for each employee, for each day, what is the duration that the person worked, that is also very easy over here to calculate, right? So I've got in time, I've got out time. I can select these two times and I can simply over here, I'm still over here and I can simply, I want to make sure I'm in the right place. One second. Not able to see where I've selected. I'm just going to close it once so that on the top what is there I can see once. Okay, if I want to go back, same process. I'll click over here and in the home tab you have transform data. So let's go back. Okay, I want to be in add column, in, out, and my duration is also not popping up. Transform I don't want to do. I guess we'll have to use DAX over here. It's not allowing me to do it. All right. So once your work is done, whatever work you wanted to do, let's say it's done. In the home tab, you have something called close and apply. So we all will click on close and apply. And what it does is any transformation, any changes, any cleaning that you have done to your data set, that gets applied. And in the front, your data sets get uploaded. So when you're back in Power BI, these are pages. When you create a dashboard on one page only, that's called a dashboard. But if you have multiple dashboards, that's called a report. And we're going to start building it. So taking the reference of what is already created. Warning, today we'll do some functions. Typically, I like to avoid functions during these boot camps because depending on what background you're coming from, you might know few functions. Some of them are very scared. Some people are really, really scared of functions. But today we could not avoid, in order to get some better insight, we had to use functions over here. So first thing we'll do is we'll create this header. Every dashboard should have a header so that a person who's going to use it will have an understanding of what he or she is looking at. So this is monthly attendance tracker. How do we create it? Let's go back to our blank sheet. We go to insert. Under insert, you will see text box. So if you want to insert a text box, if you want to insert any kind of images, any logos, any icons, this is a place you will go. Insert, this is text box, and this is image. So I will click on the text box. It just shows a big box, but you will have to, just like how you would have done in Word, PowerPoint, just resize your text box. And once you've done, let's start to type in. I'm putting all caps, monthly attendance tracker. Let's say all departments. Select entire text. Whenever you want to make change, select the entire thing. Let's say I want to change this to Calibri and I want to make the size to 32 and I want to put it in the center, make it bold, change the color. All right. So I've got this thing. Let me know if it's done. Then we'll also do a little bit of background on this text. Error is coming for the day. Which column did you select? So just going to go back once again. So if the error is coming, can you by any chance share your screen? Are you working on the same screen that you logged into? Is there a possibility you can share your screen, Arya? How to share screen? I'll stop sharing. And at the bottom where you have the menu, you will see a green button called share. So once you click on that, on the very top left, you will see entire screen. So double click on that and you will be sharing the screen with us. All right, it's coming up. All right, day of the week. Okay, now the issue that why the error came because you selected a wrong column to generate day of the week. Like in the code, I can see you had selected in time, out time, and then did day of the week. So do one thing, the last step that you see inserted, this one, inserted day of the week on the right side in the applied step, this one, delete it. So click on the cross button, it will get deleted. The cross button over here. Yes. All right. Now go select date first. First, you need to select the date, the column of date in this table. Go left. Correct. So date selected. Now you go to add column, which is this one. And let's repeat the process. Date and go to day and let's select day name. Name of day. All right, let's move towards the right to check if the data has come or not. And you got it. All right. So again, now what you're going to do is under file, under home, do close and apply. Home, not file. Okay, you can do from here. Close and apply from here. Same thing. Close and apply. And this will bring you back over here. So it's connecting, loading the data, and you're good to go. All right. Is there anyone else who's facing issues? Let me know if you guys have created the title. Once you've created the title to give in the background. So let me explain you a bit about for the people who are using Power BI for the first time. A little bit about the area that we are working with. We are on the left hand side. This area is what is called report view. This is where the dashboards are created. Now, once you're in report view, we would have, depending on how, if you've done the update or not of Power BI, on the right side, we have data, we have build, and we have format. These are the main three things you absolutely need to have before you create your BI reports. So just in case you are in the older look and feel of Power BI, you would have something like a filter. Similarly, you will have a panel, another panel over here called visual, and then you will have another panel over here called format. So instead of panels, I have buttons so that only one panel opens at a time. So either way, it's the same thing. Then over here, we have a table view in which we can look at our table in a structured format like an Excel sheet. And this is where we do data modeling. So in today, since we have only one table, there is no data modeling involved. I'm going to clear all my drawing. Now, anytime you want to format a element on your dashboard, you select the dashboard. So I'm going to select this particular element and go to format. Like I said, you might have this view or you might have panels like filter. So you will have filter, visual, visualization and format. So click on the format panel. And under size and style, there is background, and in the background right now it is white, so we can click here and give it a light gray background. This is how we are getting a background for the box. Now going back to what we are desiring, over here I have got the total man days, meaning how many days was I expecting working days, depending on what is my manpower, depending on how many departments I have. Uh, how do you think you will calculate this? Not asking in BI, just the logic. If I have to find out how many man days were there in this particular month. So it's not like a month has 30 or 31 days and let's say 4 Sundays off, so 26 days and 2 days off, so 24 days, but 24 into your number of employees. That would be the man days. How do you think we'll create these? These are called KPI cards, key performance indicator. So this is helping me to understand 1920 days were there working days across all departments, everyone. Out of this, 57 I lost in auditing, 66 I lost in finance, 68 mandates I lost in HR. And what is this? These are the cumulative number of leaves that people have taken in each department. So how we will get this thing? How will you know how many mandates are there? Total number of records that you have, total number of days that you have, right? Because in our table, Sundays are not there. Any day that was a holiday, that was not there. So the days are there. How do we do it? Click anywhere. We will go to build. What is the purpose of build? The purpose of build is, or visualization panel is the place where you can create your visuals, right? So these are the pre-existing visuals of Power BI, and we are going to use this one today, which is called a single card, a card. So once you click on any visualization, it creates a placeholder for you to place it on your dashboard. So I'm going to reduce the size, place it over here. Now, in order to get how many days of man days were there, all I'm going to do is click here. What is this usage of this? This helps you to select the data to drop in your visual. So once I click here, it is asking which field do you want to drop? Let's see. If I drop pretty much anything which is filled, right? So dates are filled, departments are filled, let's say department. So what happened? it has taken the first department, but I don't want to look at the department. I want to count the department. So I can click here and say, no, I don't want the first, but I want the count. So when I click on the count, I've got 1920. That is exactly what I had. And I can change the name. The count of department doesn't look nice. So all you have to do is double click, change the name over here. So these are total man days. Clear? The card I'll repeat. All you have to do is be in a blank space, open the build or the visualization panel. Over here you have the card. Click on it. You get this. And click on the visualization, or another thing you can do is wherever you have the data, I pick the department and you drop over here, right? Now what it is doing, since a card, why it is behaving this way, a card can hold or show only one value to you. So what it did, auditing, finance and HR, A is so in a sorted order. If you look, A comes on the top, so it's put auditing on the top. But I don't want the name. I want to find the total number, count. I want to count the department. And through that, I'm finding how many mandates were there. Got it? Yashin, clear? I just repeat it. Not yet. Delete, build the card, single card, right? And in this, I'm going to, what do you say, drop the department. And I want to summarize because I want to find how many rows are there. Number of rows were the number of working days across departments. And I did count. Now is it clear? And to change the bottom, what's written count of department, that you can easily do by double clicking this area and say total man days. Ankit, if you don't mind, I'll explain you in the next card because otherwise, if it's 15 minutes and so many functions to cover, it might be difficult. And these videos are, what are we actually doing? What we're trying to do is create the cards on the top. These are called the KPI cards. By looking at the KPI card, business gets a very good understanding of whether whatever we are looking at from the business point of view, whether it's going in the right direction or wrong direction, right? Option is not showing. Again, it might be because of the version of Power BI that you have, the preview options that you've taken. So like I said, either you will have a panel like this, like I have for filter, you will have a panel called visualization, and you will have also have a panel of format. Do you have that? Shashanto, do you have it? So what you will do once you've created, you will go to visualization. So your visualization looks like this, correct? And from here, use the card. Understood? Format would also be there. It is there. And if format is not there, let's say you don't have format, so you can go to view and then you can turn on the format panel. Under view, these are all the panels. So whatever panels you work with, we turn it on, rest we turn it off. Just becomes a little easy to work. Okay. Now I want to find out how many days did I lose in auditing. Okay. So first of all, I want number of days which were lost. How will you find out how many days were lost? Days lost would be the number of times the person did not come, right? It is 57, but how did you get this number 57? So, what I did was, uh, I have created a calculation, right? This is where your DAX come into picture. I have created a calculation called man days lost. Okay, these things, total man days lost, percentage absent, these are not a part of your raw data, but we can't just work with the columns that are given in our raw data and say, okay, this is the max or this is the only analysis I can do. We have to create new columns to make sense of the raw data also. So what I've done over here is we said, okay, I will find out how many people were on leave, right? So how do we create this thing? So let's go back, go to the place where you have the data, and we are going to write our DAX function. How do you create a DAX function? How do you create measures or columns with DAX? We right click on any of the items in the table, any field, and on the top in this window that opens up, it says new measure and new column. I would have loved to explain you what is the difference. Probably we can do it in another session, another video. But for now, we are going to create a new measure. Measures are what? Measures are one single value output. Something like if someone is going to ask me at the end of today's boot camp, how many people came? I'll say 100. I'm giving one value out, right? So that's a scalar value. That's what measures do. It gives you one single value. So I'll click on new measure. Now, once you click on that, this becomes like Excel, where on Excel you have a formula bar on the top and you write your formulas over here, right? Now, formula which we are going to use, can we have a quick header making no, Yasin, no, sorry. More than header, I think this is more important. Headers, you will be able to understand by yourself also, right? Just look at this functions because functions is what is going to make this too little difficult. So what it does, it creates, it went away. We waited too long. So over here, you will see it is almost like in Excel, you have a formula bar where you can type in your functions. So the functions, when you use in Power BI, these are called DAX. So the DAX, like some function is a DAX, count is a DAX. And then there are more functions which are in BI, but not in Excel. Okay. So I am going to first of all change the name from measure to let's lost days or man days lost. It has an equal to sign. So it's expecting a function or a formula to come up over here. Yes, they are recorded videos. You can pause and play and work along. I'll share my LinkedIn. You can message me there if you have any confusion. I can clarify there as well. So man days lost. Now, if I do a count like I did for total number of man days, I got a number. Now, I don't want the total number. I want the time when people were not present. So what we are doing is we are counting, but we are counting based on a condition, right? What is that condition? Condition is that under present and leave, the person was not present. It might be a sick leave, casual leave, vacation leave, whatever leave, but was not present. So this kind of summarization, what is this? This is condition-based summarization. We have a condition and based on that, I'm summarizing the data is done through a function in BI called calculate. So calculate requires what? It requires an expression. Expression would be any kind of, let's say, a count, number of rows that are there, count of number of days that are there. It could be sum, if we had anything to do with the sum or average, any kind of aggregated value. And after that, we get the filters or the conditions based on which I want to do aggregation. So over here, I'll simply use a function called count rows. What count rows do is of a table, it will count how many rows are there. And why we're doing that? Because that's exactly a total number of man days, right? So table name is attendance and close the bracket. So this function will help me count how many rows are there in this attendance data set. Now I put a comma and now I am in the filter part. So what am I going to filter? I am going to filter that the present and leave column. So if you start typing, you will see it shows up. The way it shows up is it shows the name of the table, and in the square bracket, what you see is the name of a column. So we click here and I'm going to put equal to sign, just like how many of you must have used Excel and you would have um, given a logical test. Now, can I say equal to leave? Does my data allow me to say that? The column name is present or leave, but can I say attendance data set present leave is equal to leave? Do you have a word called leave in your data set? We don't. So what we are going to do, instead of saying equal to, we'll use not equal to. This is a symbol of not equal to in BI, in Excel, lot of tools. Less than greater than sign is not equal to present. This is easier. Rather than saying it's sick leave or this leave or that leave, let's just say it's not present. If it says not present, means the person is absent. And I'm going to close the bracket for calculate. For now, I'm going to pass this. How to delete a text box? I would say just leave the text box for now. Pridarshini, leave the text box for now, okay? Because that is the easiest thing you would learn in today's session. And I've sent you, because it's the first time you guys are working with DAX, I've sent you the DAX function over here. And this will help me to understand how many days I have lost. All right. So quickly create this measure. How do you create the measure? Right click, new measure. And once you click, this formula box opens up and you can paste the formula that I've sent you. Done. The man days lost is showing 191. 191. Hmm. Okay, just check. 191. Can anybody who has 191 share the screen once? Anyone who has 191, okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's right. I didn't even drop it. I was thinking total man days you're talking about. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. These are total days. What I am showing on my dashboard is particular to each department. Perfectly fine. I've not dropped it yet. Okay. Now, what is the formula? Formula that we are using over here is a calculate function. The work of a calculate function is to do summarization based on condition, which is very similar to, if you know Excel, SUMIFs, COUNTIFs. So it's a replica of that over here. Count rows function helps you to find number of records or the number of rows in a table, and that's it. Right? So we are saying this, summarize this based on this condition. All right. Now let's get the card. Best thing about BI, Power BI thing is the feature of copy paste. So I'm going to copy, Control C, Control V, paste it, move it. Why I'm doing it? Because I don't have to format. I don't have to make sure the size is the same. It becomes easier. All I have to do is get rid of what is in this. I can go to, let's do it over here, which you all of you have it. Go to your visualization. Over here, you already have total man days. Let's delete it. And what we are going to put is man days lost and drop it over here. See, I also have 191, right? However, what I'm showing to you is based on different departments. Now, how will I get for different departments? Means I'm again filtering the data. This is total for all the departments. I want for one particular department. So now I'll use this panel of filter. So under filter, you will see there is filter on this visual, filter on this page, filter on all the pages. What do you want to put? On a visual or a page? We want to put it on the visual. And what do we want to put is we want to filter based on department. So we'll pick department and drop it over here. All departments showing up. I want only for auditing and 57. Is this part clear? We calculated the man days lost. We dropped it in the card. And then we used filter panel. We dropped department over here and we said we want for auditing only. And we can double click like we did last time and say auditing man days lost. After this, it becomes easier because all I'm going to do is copy paste, next, copy paste, next, and over here I did auditing. Next, I'll uncheck auditing, work with finance, change the name to finance. Go over here, change the name from auditing to HR and change the name to HR. So my three cards are ready. And now you can see it matches 57, 66, and 68. Exactly the same answers we are getting. If you're done for one, we can use a lot of things, but let's say time is a constraint in these boot camps. So if you've done with one, you know how to do the remaining. So I can proceed. Just let me know if you've done one at least. Yes. All right. Okay. Now we come to few more calculations to get what we need. Now, what I have over here is a percentage absent. People who are percentage absent. Now, I'll show you the formula, what this percentage absent is. I'll explain you a little bit. So ideally, what should be percentage absent, right? It should be how many people were absent divided by total number of people. Agree? How many people are there divided by total number of people, right? So that is exactly what I've done in this particular DAX function. So let me just send it to you once and then I'll explain it once again by breaking it up. Can you please repeat how to select specific department? So you select the card, go to the filter, right? Drop the filter in the filter area, add data to the field, and then when you drop, it comes up like this. Select one department at a time. Rutuja, clear? Okay. So let me send you this DAX once and then I'll explain you one by one what is going on. Now, what are we doing over here? Again, we are creating a measure. So we'll right click. You will create a new measure. And I'm just going to paste it over here and let me explain to you. Now, what I said was how much, if I have to calculate what is the percentage absent, what will I do? I'll take, okay, let's say in department there are 100 people, 20 are absent. So percentage would be 20 divided by 100, right? So we need to first of all find out how many people were absent, like how we found for man days lost, right? And then we are dividing by total. So on the top, you see it's almost the same formula, that distinct count is a function again, which helps you to do accounting based on employee ID. And who are we counting? The people who are not present, means they were on leave. And we have put it inside calculate function because we are doing aggregation of counting based on a condition being not present. So this on the top, this area is giving you how many number of people were absent. Then I have used the division and at the bottom copy pasted this thing only. What is this thing going to give me? Total number of employees. So total number of employees at the bottom and on the top I have how many people were absent. So when you use this formula, you will get your percentage absent. Hopefully it's clear. Percentage absent is clear. Created it. Uh, Shashanto, these things are based on what features you have selected and what version of Power BI you guys are using. So you guys are using the older way of looking at Power BI. That's why it's a little different than what I'm using. Why are we using distinct count and why not the count? Um, why are we using distinct count? Good question. Why not the count? So if I use a count function on a column of employee ID, right? Employee ID column, the IDs are repeating because this is like a daily attendance, right? Makes sense. And now I'm rethinking my decision. Let's do one thing. Let's put over here, we already have um or we can go. Should we do distinct or not? Distinct of employee IDs, number of people who are not present. Employee ID is a repeating thing. That's the reason I took it. But just to, now that you put this in my head, just to make sure, if I put count rows, that's a safer option. Count rows, which we used initially also on the entire data set. And again, count rows over here. Okay, copy, sending it to you guys. So I'm counting how many rows are there total and how many rows are there which people were absent, right? Okay. Now we have to drop this in the visual. The visual that I've used is this one, which is called matrix. Matrix has rows, matrix has column, and then you can put visual. This is very similar to your pivot table. So once you click over here in the matrix, what all it needs rows, needs columns, and it needs value. So row, column, value. So in row, we have put the days. So when you click on date, you will see the date is year, quarter, month. It's a monthly dashboard. So it doesn't make sense to put any of these. So I'll only pick day and drop it in row. So I'll get 1 to 30. In column, I'm going to put my department. So I've got auditing, finance, and HR. And in the value, I'm going to put percentage absent. Clear? And this percentage absent is not looking nice, being 0.09, 0.22. So we are going to click on percentage absent over here. On the top, measure tools will come up and you will have your percentage formatting. We click on the percentage formatting and now my numbers, and let's make it 0. And now I have a better looking table. So in auditing, on second, 9 people were absent, HR, 7 people were absent, and so forth. Okay, and we can double check these values in Excel. So far, so good. Right? Now, what I did was, see, you have to understand whenever we create tables and data, and it becomes impossible for the business users to make heads and tails out of it. So when we make tables, we need to make sure that we are making it easy for the user to look at the table and get the output very quickly. It should not be that he or she is looking at hundreds of rows and columns and still not able to understand why he or she is looking at it. So for this purpose, we have used conditional formatting over here. So how do you use conditional formatting? We are going to select our table, right? We are going to go to format. We are going to go down to cell element, and under the cell element on the percentage absent, I am putting background color. Now, what is this? This is conditional formatting from rule number 1 in Excel. I have clicked over here and on FX, I can change the colors. Right now, what it is doing, whatever the highest value, it's giving me blue, lowest, it's giving me white, light blue. What I've done is going to give white to the lowest and a red one to the highest. Or I want to really, really emphasize wherever the number of absentees have gone beyond 20. So I can put custom and I'll put 0.2, and anything which is, let's say, less than 5%, not bothered about. So 0.05 I'll give over here as minimum. So 5% or below will be white, to 20% or above will be this red color. So now click OK, and there you go. Now you can see focus will go on the darkest color for the user as well. So this is how we are going to create our easy to use tracker where a person can understand what the specific days where people were absent, did people club the leaves and take the leaves or not. All right. Now, the videos are already there on YouTube. You can play, pause, do it with me. So let's just try to finish this particular dashboard. The next thing that we have created is to identify the employees who have come more than 10 times late to the office. So I want the department, and the reason I have the department is I can see which department people are coming late. Like auditing people, 137 instances. For finance, there are 232 instances. So probably something we need to do for the finance department. And if I want to look for a one particular department who are the employees, I can find it out. Okay. Now, how did we create this? So what I need is a department. I need the employee ID, and I need the number of times a person was late. And how do we get that? We already have a column called late or on time. So if I counted the number of times a person was late, I can get this column, and then I use the filter to get which ones are more than 10, right? So let's get started. Again, what I've used as a visual is a matrix. And in this matrix, what we are using over here is in the row department, in the column, not in the column, in the row itself, again, employee IDs, right? And then in the value, we are using this part of late or on time. Now again, what it is doing is it's a text. So it's just giving you one of the text, but I want to count. So same thing that we did on the top, we are going to do count, right? Now, what is it counting? It's counting everything because it's counting the text. So late also is getting counted, on time is also getting counted. What I want to show over here is only the ones which are late. Again, just like how you used filters on the top for the cards, we will go to filter and we will drop once again this column called late or on time. And what I want to focus on is only late. So now I've got the count of late in each department. Since I've dropped the employee also, once you click on the plus sign, you will be able to see the employees who have employee wise late. Now my focus is not going to be on everyone. I want to focus people who have got at least 10 times and above late. So once you have this count, right? You have a count over here. We are simply going to say anything which is greater than or let's say greater than 10 is what I need to identify. So what we are playing around with is the filters, and we click apply. So we are getting the people who have got more than 10 times, who have come more than 10 times late to the office, right? So what we did, matrix, we dropped the department employee ID. In the summarization portion, we dropped count the late or on time column. Late and on time column is a text. So in the only summarization that works on a text is count. So we clicked here, we said, okay, don't show me the first or the last, do the counting. So it gave me the total count. Now I'm not interested in the total count, I want late. So we used our filter panel. We dropped late or on time, and we filtered over here the occurrence of only the word late, right? And last step was, what we did was, we don't want everyone's count because it's too much data. Imagine somebody having 20,000 people. Why should I focus on all 20,000 and look at the late? Everything will have a benchmark that beyond this is bad, right? So what we have said, beyond 10, a month has, let's say, 26 days of working, 10 days you've come late, notice should go to you. I should know you are late. Your managers should be informed. So we just put over here a filter saying if the item shows when the value is greater than 10 and apply. So this helps us to build this entire dashboard. All right. I know some of you might not have been able to cope up. A lot of things were new. I do understand. This video is going to be on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. A lot of good videos you're going to come across, a lot of tips and tricks, interviews, something that new latest features that come in our world of analytics, those are also there. And a lot of case studies as a part of the boot camp are done. A lot of case studies from our students are also there. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. And very quickly, let me wrap it up. I'm just going to give you my LinkedIn just in case you want to stay connected on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, you can definitely ask me there. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this workshop. You found it useful, something that you can put on your something that you can easily put on your resumes. So our YouTube channel is IB Pro School. All right, let me put the link for this. And I'm one of the directors. It's called school, but it's actually pretty much like a corporate office. We are a tech company, but the name has a word school in it. Okay, so I hope this at least made it interesting for you to get into this world of analytics, and we do a lot of fun stuff. I've been working with different type of industry as a consultant from anywhere from a FMCG company to manufacturing companies to a lot of different things like financial companies. So it's fun. Data is fun. Doing all these is fun. Helping businesses find an answer to the questions they're asking is a lot of fun. And this is my way of helping them out. I help organizations create dashboards. So if this is what you find interesting, make sure you take your first step towards data science, data analytics, Gen AI programs. All right. All of you have a very good night and hope to see you tomorrow for another workshop, which is basically on the latest trending tool, Gen AI. All right. Have a great evening and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Certificates you only receive when you've attended 2 days of boot camp. Thank you. Have a good night.